What would you do if someone set your passport on fire right in front of hundreds of people, just because they didn't think you belonged in first class? Before we dive into this unbelievable true story, please hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Heartbound Stories so you never miss another powerful tale. Also, drop a comment and tell us where you're watching from. We absolutely love hearing from you. Now, let me tell you about the day everything changed at Chicago's biggest airport. The gate area was packed with travelers. People sat in rows of hard plastic chairs, scrolling through their phones and sipping coffee. Children whined about being bored. Business people typed frantically on laptops. Everyone was waiting for Flight 772 to Miami, and everyone just wanted to get home. In the middle of all this normal, everyday chaos stood a woman named Maya Thompson. She wore a simple black dress that looked expensive but not showy. Her hair was pulled back neatly. Small diamond earrings sparkled when the light hit them just right. She held her passport in one hand and her first-class boarding pass in the other. Her face was calm. Her eyes were patient. She had arrived early, just like she always did. Maya walked up to the gate counter where a woman named Sharon Price stood behind the desk. Sharon had been working at this airport for 12 years. She wore her uniform with the airline's blue and gold colors. Her name tag gleamed under the bright lights. But something about the way she looked at Maya was cold. Very cold. "Excuse me," Maya said politely, holding out her boarding pass. "I'm ready to board whenever you're ready for first-class passengers." Sharon didn't even glance at the ticket. Instead, she looked Maya up and down like she was inspecting something dirty. Her lip curled into a mean little smile. "First class," Sharon said loudly. So loudly that people nearby turned to look. "Honey, are you sure you're at the right gate? Maybe you meant to say coach?" Way in the back. Maya's face didn't change. She simply held out her documents again. "No, ma'am. Seat 2A. First class." Sharon snatched the passport and boarding pass from Maya's hands. She held them up high, turning them over dramatically like a detective examining fake money. "Listen here, sweetheart," Sharon announced, her voice getting even louder. "First class isn't for people like you. You know, people on government assistance. Food stamp folks. This section is for real business travelers who actually earned their money." The words hung in the air like poison. An old man in seat 18 stopped reading his newspaper. A young mother covered her daughter's ears. A college student pulled out his phone and started recording. Within seconds, phones all around the gate area were pointing at the counter. Maya took a slow, deep breath. "Ma'am, I paid for this ticket with my own money. My passport is valid. Please just scan my boarding pass so I can board the plane." "Paid for it?" Sharon laughed meanly. "With what? Let me guess, drug money? Maybe you stole someone's credit card? We see people like you trying to sneak into first class all the time, acting like you belong there." "People like me?" Maya repeated quietly. "Oh, don't play innocent," Sharon snapped. "You know exactly what I mean. Poor people. Urban people. People who should be grateful they can even afford a plane ticket at all." The crowd gasped. Someone whispered, "Is she really saying this?" Another voice said, "Someone better be recording." And they were. At least 20 phones were filming now. A teenage boy had even started a live stream. The words, "Racist Gate Agent," flashed across the screen as viewers began flooding in. A security guard noticed the commotion and walked over. His radio crackled on his belt. "What's going on here?" he asked. "This passenger has suspicious documents," Sharon said confidently, waving Maya's passport around. "I think they might be fake. We need to verify everything before I can let her board." Maya's voice stayed calm and steady. "Officer, my passport was issued by the United States government. I've traveled to 43 countries for business. There is nothing suspicious about my documents. This agent is racially profiling me." "Business?" Sharon shrieked with fake laughter. "What kind of business? Please, enlighten us all. What exactly do you do?" "I work in aviation," Maya said simply. Aviation, Sharon mocked. Right. Let me guess, you clean the planes? Serve peanuts? Because you certainly don't look like any executive I've ever seen. The security guard shifted uncomfortably. He could feel how wrong this was, but he seemed frozen, unsure what to do. The crowd pressed closer. The phones kept recording. The live stream had 2,000 viewers now. 3,000. 5,000. Then Sharon's supervisor arrived. A thin woman named Linda Hayes marched up to the counter with her arms crossed. She had a tight, pinched face that looked like it never smiled. What's the delay? Linda demanded. Possible document fraud, Sharon explained. I'm being thorough. Just doing my job. Linda looked at Maya with the same cold, judging eyes. If she can't prove she bought this ticket legally, she doesn't board. Simple as that. We have procedures for suspicious passengers. Suspicious, Maya said. What exactly makes me suspicious? Please explain it clearly. Sharon's hand moved to her pocket. She pulled out a small silver lighter. The kind people use for cigarettes. She flicked it open. A tiny orange flame danced at the top. Here's how we test fake passports, Sharon said with a cruel smile. Real ones don't burn the same way as fake ones. The paper is different. Special. So let's just do a little test. The crowd fell completely silent. You could have heard a pin drop. Everyone stared in shock at the small flame, at Maya's passport in Sharon's other hand, at the unbelievable thing that was about to happen. Ma'am, the security guard said nervously. You can't actually. Just the corner, Sharon interrupted. Just to check. That's a federal crime, Maya said quietly. Destroying a U.S. passport carries serious penalties. Sharon laughed. Only if it's real. And I don't think yours is. She moved the flame closer. Closer. The orange fire reflected in Maya's calm eyes. The phones zoomed in. The live stream exploded with comments. Stop her. Call the police. This is insane. Then Sharon did it. She touched the flame to the corner of Maya's passport. The blue cover started to turn black. Smoke curled up. The smell of burning paper and chemicals filled the air. People shouted. Someone screamed. A woman yelled, "You can't do that." Maya reached for her passport, but Sharon jerked it away, holding it higher. See? Sharon shouted. Guilty reaction. Real passport holders don't panic like that. The security guard finally stepped forward. Ma'am, stop right now. But it was too late. The corner of the passport was charred and burned. The damage was done. And 10,000 people were watching it happen live on the internet. Maya stood perfectly still. She looked at her burned passport in Sharon's hand. The blackened corner was still smoking slightly. The smell made people cough and wave their hands in front of their faces. But Maya's expression didn't change at all. She wasn't crying. She wasn't yelling. She wasn't even angry looking. She was just calm. Strangely, eerily calm. And somehow, that calmness was more frightening than any scream could have been. You just destroyed United States government property, Maya said in a voice so quiet that everyone had to lean in to hear. On camera. In front of witnesses. Do you understand what you've done? Sharon's confident smile started to crack just a little. She looked around at all the phones pointed at her. At all the shocked faces. At the security guard who was talking urgently into his radio. The live stream viewer count had jumped to 20,000. 30,000. Comments flooded the screen faster than anyone could read them. I was just checking, Sharon stammered. It's procedure. We have to verify. Show me the procedure manual that says you burn passengers' passports, Maya interrupted, her voice still terrifyingly calm. I'll wait. Sharon's mouth opened and closed like a fish. No words came out. Linda Hayes, the supervisor, tried to take control. Everyone needs to calm down. This passenger was being uncooperative and suspicious. My employee was simply following protocol for potential fraud. Protocol. An older woman from the crowd spoke up. I've flown for 40 years and I've never seen anyone burn a passport as protocol. That's ridiculous. Ma'am, please stay out of this, Linda snapped. But the older woman wouldn't be quiet. That girl hasn't done anything wrong. You people are treating her terribly just because, she stopped, but everyone knew what she was going to say. Just because Maya was black. Just because Sharon and Linda had looked at her and decided she didn't belong. The security guard finally managed to speak. Ma'am, he said to Sharon, you need to give the passport back immediately. And both of you need to come with me to the security office. Why should I go anywhere? Sharon protested. I'm the victim here. She's the one with the fake documents. The passport is not fake, Maya said clearly. She reached into her expensive leather bag and pulled out her phone. With a few taps, she opened her own recording. Everything that happened here is documented. Your accusations. Your insults. The moment you decided to commit a federal crime. Illinois is a one-party consent state for recording, which means I don't need your permission. And I currently have 35,000 people watching this live. Sharon's face went white. Linda's face went red. You can't. People can't just. Linda sputtered. Actually, they can, Maya said. And they are. Right now, this video is being shared on every social media platform. People are taking screenshots. Downloading copies. This will never disappear. A businessman in an expensive suit stepped forward from the crowd. I'm an attorney, he said loudly. And I just witnessed what could be multiple federal violations. Destruction of government property. Possible hate crime charges. Civil rights violations. Ma'am, he nodded at Maya, you have dozens of witnesses here who will testify about what happened. Thank you, Maya said politely to the lawyer. Then she turned back to Sharon and Linda. Would you like to know what else I have in my bag? Sharon and Linda both looked terrified now, but they said nothing. Maya reached into her bag again. This time she pulled out a black credit card. Not the regular kind. This one was made of actual metal. It was so heavy you could tell just by looking at it. The name engraved on it caught the light. Maya Thompson, Platinum Executive. That's a corporate card, Linda whispered. Yes, Maya confirmed. It is. She reached in one more time. Her fingers pulled out a simple white business card. She held it up so both Sharon and Linda could see. The letters were pressed into the thick paper in real gold ink. Even from a distance, people in the crowd could make out the words. Maya Thompson, Chief Executive Officer, Thompson Global Enterprises, parent company of Sky High Airlines. The entire gate area went silent. Not a single person moved. Not a single person breathed. Everyone just stared at those words on that small white card. Sharon's knees actually buckled. She grabbed the counter to keep from falling. You're the owner, Maya finished for her. Yes. I own this airline. Every plane. Every gate. Every uniform you're wearing right now. I own it. Linda made a sound like a strangled cat. Her hands started shaking. The security guard's eyes went huge. Ma'am. Ms. Thompson. I had no idea. Of course you didn't, Maya said gently. Because I dress normally. I travel normally. I don't announce myself. I like to see how my employees treat regular passengers. And now I've seen exactly how they treat passengers they think are beneath them. The college student recording had to sit down. His hands were shaking so hard he almost dropped his phone. The live stream was going insane. The comments were scrolling so fast they were just a blur. 50,000 viewers. 70,000. 100,000 people were watching this unfold in real time. Please, Linda begged. Her voice cracked. Ms. Thompson, there's been a terrible misunderstanding. We didn't know. Didn't know what? Maya asked. Didn't know I was rich? Didn't know I was important? So that makes it okay to burn someone's passport? To call them drug dealers and thieves? To humiliate them in front of hundreds of people? Linda's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Let me ask you something, Maya continued. If I had been white, would you have questioned my first-class ticket? Would you have assumed I was on government assistance? Would you have accused me of fraud and drug trafficking? Silence. Heavy, terrible silence. Answer me, Maya said, and though her voice was still quiet, it had steel in it now. No, Linda finally whispered. Probably not. Probably. Maya repeated. No, Linda said louder. No, we wouldn't have. Sharon was crying now. Real tears running down her face, smearing her makeup. I'm sorry, she sobbed. I'm so sorry. Please, I need this job. I have bills. I have a family. Please don't fire me. Maya looked at her for a long moment. Everyone in the crowd held their breath, waiting to see what she would do. You should have thought about your family before you decided to be cruel, Maya said simply. You should have thought about your job before you broke federal law. You should have thought about consequences before you humiliated someone just because you thought you had power over them. Just then, a man in a very expensive suit came running up. He was sweating even though the airport was air-conditioned. His tie was loose. His face was panicked. This was Marcus Webb, the district manager. His boss was the regional director. And his boss's boss was standing right in front of him. Ms. Thompson, he gasped. I just heard what happened. I came as fast as I could. Please, let me handle this. We'll fix everything. We'll make this right. Maya turned to him slowly. Will you? How exactly will you make this right, Marcus? Marcus Webb looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor. Sweat dripped down his temples. His hands twisted together nervously. He was the district manager, which meant he was supposed to be in charge of everything at this airport. But right now, he looked like a little kid who got caught doing something very, very wrong. We'll fire them both immediately, Marcus said quickly, pointing at Sharon and Linda. Full termination. No references. We'll issue a public apology. We'll compensate you for any damages. We'll... Stop, Maya said firmly. Marcus's mouth snapped shut. You think firing them fixes this? You think money fixes this? Marcus, your employees racially profiled a passenger, verbally abused her, accused her of crimes, and then burned her federal identification document. On camera. In front of hundreds of witnesses. And you think a simple apology makes that disappear? Marcus looked like he might cry. What do you want us to do? Maya pulled out her phone again. She tapped the screen a few times, then turned it so Marcus could see. Do you know how many views this live stream has right now? Marcus leaned in to look. His face went from red to completely white. 250,000, he whispered. 263,000 now, Maya corrected. It's going up by thousands every minute. People are recording it and posting it everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. News websites are already writing articles about it. I've gotten 7 calls from television news stations in the last 10 minutes asking for interviews. The crowd murmured. Everyone was still watching. Everyone was still recording. This was the biggest thing that had ever happened at this gate, maybe at this whole airport. Your airline's reputation is about to be destroyed, Maya continued. Parents won't want to fly with you because they don't want their children to see this kind of hatred. Business travelers won't book with you because they don't want to be associated with racism. Other airlines will use this in their advertising. Your stock price will drop. You'll lose millions. Maybe billions. Marcus was shaking now. Actually shaking. Please, he begged. Tell me what to do. I'll do anything. Maya looked at him for a long moment. Then she looked at Sharon, who was still crying. Then at Linda, who looked sick. Then at the security guard, who looked confused. Then at all the passengers who were watching with wide eyes and open mouths. Here's what's going to happen, Maya said clearly. First, Sharon and Linda will be terminated immediately. Not just fired. Terminated with cause, which means no unemployment benefits. Their actions were criminal, not just poor customer service. Sharon let out a sob. Linda put her face in her hands. Second, Maya continued, I'm pressing charges. Destruction of federal property is a crime. The FBI handles passport cases. I'm calling them the moment I finish talking to you. Sharon will face federal charges and possible jail time. No, Sharon gasped. Please, no. I made a mistake. Just a mistake. A mistake is spilling coffee, Maya said coldly. Setting someone's passport on fire while calling them racial slurs is a choice. A deliberate, hateful choice. And choices have consequences. The businessman lawyer from earlier nodded approvingly. Several people in the crowd clapped. The old woman who had spoken up earlier said loudly, That's right. Actions have consequences. Third, Maya said, this airline will implement mandatory anti-bias training for every single employee. Gate agents, flight attendants, pilots, managers, everyone. And not just a boring video they watch once. Real training. Interactive. Taught by experts. With tests. With consequences if they fail. Marcus nodded frantically. Yes. Absolutely. We'll start immediately. Fourth, there will be an independent review of all discrimination complaints filed against this airline in the past 5 years. Every single one. I want to know if this is a pattern or if Sharon and Linda are just two bad apples. Either way, we're fixing it. We'll do it, Marcus promised. Whatever you want. Maya wasn't finished. Fifth, this airline will donate $1 million to civil rights organizations. Organizations that fight against exactly this kind of discrimination. And we'll do it publicly, with a full explanation of why we're donating. The crowd gasped. $1 million. That was real money. That was serious. And sixth, Maya said, her voice getting softer but somehow more powerful, everyone here who witnessed this will receive a full refund for their flight today, plus a voucher for a free round-trip ticket anywhere we fly. Because you shouldn't have had to see this. You shouldn't have had to experience this hatred in what's supposed to be a safe, professional space. The crowd erupted in surprised chatter. People looked at each other in shock. Free flights? Full refunds? The college student recording said out loud, This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Maya turned to address everyone watching. Her voice carried across the gate area. I'm sorry you had to witness this today. I'm sorry that racism like this still exists. I'm sorry that Sharon and Linda thought they had the right to treat another human being this way. But I promise you, I will do everything in my power to make sure it never happens again on any of my airlines. The applause started slowly. One person clapping, then 2, then 10. Then the entire gate area was clapping. Some people were cheering. The old woman had tears in her eyes. The businessman lawyer gave Maya a respectful nod. Even the security guard looked impressed. Sharon sank to the floor, her face buried in her hands. Linda just stood frozen, staring at nothing. Their careers were over. Their reputations were destroyed. They would be known forever as the racist gate agents who burned a passenger's passport. The women who didn't know they were humiliating their own boss. Marcus pulled out his phone with shaking hands. I'm calling HR right now. And legal. And public relations. We'll handle everything exactly as you said. Good, Maya said. Then she did something unexpected. She turned to the security guard and smiled kindly. Officer, thank you for trying to intervene. I saw you attempting to stop Sharon before things got worse. That took courage. The guard looked surprised. I should have done more. I'm sorry I didn't. You did what you could, Maya said gently. That matters. Then she looked at her burned passport. The corner was black and destroyed. She couldn't travel with it now. But that was okay. She had 3 more at home, Because when you travel as much as Maya did, you always kept backups. I'll need to reschedule my flight, Maya said calmly. I'll be flying private today instead. I need to get a new passport issued first, which means visits to the federal building and lots of paperwork. All because someone decided to judge me by my skin color instead of treating me like a human being. Marcus looked like he might faint. We'll cover all costs. Everything. The private flight, the passport replacement, everything. You will, Maya agreed. And Marcus? I want a full report on my desk by Monday morning. Every step you've taken. Every policy you've changed. Every person you've trained. Because I'll be checking. And if I find out this airline hasn't made real changes, there will be more consequences. Do you understand? Yes, ma'am, Marcus said quietly. I understand. Maya picked up her bag. She tucked her burned passport carefully into a special pocket. Evidence. She would need it for the FBI report and for the lawsuits that would probably follow. As she turned to leave, the crowd parted like water. People stepped aside respectfully. Some nodded at her. Others smiled. The old woman reached out and gently touched Maya's arm. You're a strong woman, she said softly. Thank you for standing up for yourself. Thank you for speaking up, Maya replied warmly. That took bravery too. The college student who had been live streaming called out, Ms. Thompson. You're amazing. This video is everywhere now. You're trending on every platform. Maya paused and looked at him. Good, she said. Let it spread. Let everyone see what happened here. Let everyone know that hatred and racism won't be tolerated. Not in my airports. Not in my company. Not anywhere. She walked away then, her heels clicking on the polished floor. Behind her, Sharon was being escorted away by security, still crying. Linda followed, her head down in shame. Marcus was barking orders into his phone, trying to manage the crisis that was exploding around him. The passengers at Gate 27 would never forget that day. They would tell the story to their friends, their families, their co-workers. They would say, I was there. I saw it happen. I saw a woman get treated horribly just for being black. But I also saw her stand up with dignity and strength. I saw justice happen right in front of my eyes. The video would be watched millions of times. News articles would be written. People on the internet would debate and discuss. Some would say Maya was too harsh. Most would say she wasn't harsh enough. But everyone would agree on one thing. Sharon and Linda had learned a very expensive lesson about treating people with respect. And Maya? She went home that night, got her backup passport, and flew to her meeting the next day. She didn't let hatred stop her. She didn't let racism slow her down. She just kept being herself. Strong. Powerful. A woman who owned an entire airline but still believed that every single person, no matter who they were, deserved to be treated with dignity and kindness. Because at the end of the day, that's what really matters. Not money. Not power. Not first-class seats or fancy credit cards. Just simple human respect. Something that costs nothing but means everything. And that's a lesson Sharon and Linda learned too late.